Welcome to episode 200 of OTD, your daily dose of soccer history by 17 Laws Guy. 200 episodes. I'm grateful to all of you for your ideas and encouraging comments. And if I can ask one thing of you, it is that you hit subscribe in the podcast, or like the Substack post, or share the part of the article with your friends. It really helps OTD grow as the algorithm pushes it up the charts. Thank you. And now on to the next 200 episodes. It's May 19, 1968. Tehran. Amjadieh Stadium. Iran against Israel. The last match of the Asian Cup. Israel are the defending champions. Iran are hosting the tournament and playing in the Asian Cup finals for the first time. Israel score first. So Iran need a response. And they get it late. Very late. But they do win it. Iran 2, Israel 1. Iran are Asian champions for the first time. But this is not just a football final. It is a match played 1 year after the Six-Day War, inside the delicate Shah-era relationship between Iran and Israel, in a stadium where celebration, nationalism, anti-Israeli politics, and anti-Semitic hostility all collide. This is the day Team Melli begins its great Asian decade, and the day Asian football's Israel question becomes impossible to ignore. But how did we get here? We start with the Asian Cup itself. The Asian Football Confederation had been founded in 1954, as we discussed in episode 189, and the Asian Cup began 2 years later in Hong Kong. South Korea won the first two editions in 56 and 60. Israel, after finishing runners-up twice, hosted and won the 64 tournament. That already tells you something about early Asian football. The map was different. Israel were inside the AFC. Iran, Israel, South Korea, India, Hong Kong, Burma, Taiwan, and Vietnam. The continental structure was still fluid, still young, still being tested by politics, geography, and recognition. Now put that inside 1968. Israel had been created in 1948, after the catastrophe of the Holocaust and the end of the British Mandate. It had fought wars, built institutions, and become a serious sporting nation in Asian competition. Iran, still ruled by Mohammad Reza Shah Pahlavi, was not yet the Islamic Republic. It was a monarchy, allied with the West, modernizing fast and quietly connected to Israel in ways that mattered: oil, security, intelligence, trade, and regional diplomacy. Iran had recognized Israel de facto in 1950, but relations were deliberately kept low profile, because Iran also had to live inside a Muslim and Middle Eastern political environment. Then came the Six-Day War in 1967. Israel's victory transformed the emotional and political landscape across the region. Iranian public sympathy for Palestinians and Arabs became more visible. The Shah's government had to balance secret cooperation with Israel against public pressure, Arab solidarity, and the mood of the street. So when Israel came to Tehran in May 1968, it was not just another defending champion arriving for a football tournament. It was a diplomatic event, a security event, a test. And on the pitch, it was a serious tournament. The 1968 Asian Cup was the biggest edition yet. 5 teams in a round-robin format, all at Amjadieh Stadium. No final in the modern sense, just a league table. But because of the sequence of results, the last match became the final, in everything but name. Iran, coached by Mahmoud Bayati, came with players who would become national icons: Behzadi, Ghelichkhani, Hossein Kalani, Akbar Eftekhari, Ali Jabari, Hassan Habibi, and Jafar Kashani. Israel had Mordecai Spiegler, Giora Spiegel, Moshe Romano, Shmuel Rosenthal, and goalkeeper Ishtak Visoka. A side with real pedigree and the holders of the trophy. Iran opened strongly. They beat Hong Kong 2-0. Then they beat Taiwan 4-0. Then came Burma, who were not supposed to be a decorative guest. Burma had qualified impressively and then shocked Israel 1-0 through Suk Bahadur. That result changed the tournament. Iran beat Burma 3-1, and Israel recovered by beating Taiwan 4-1. So the final match was set. Iran could take the title by avoiding defeat. Israel had to win and overturn the numbers. And Amjadieh was overflowing. Officially, around 30,000 were inside. Other accounts speak of many more around the ground, outside the gates, in the streets, listening, waiting, pushing the city into the match. The game begins slowly. Israel know they need goals. Iran know they do not need to chase the match. So the first half ends 0-0. Then, early in the second half, Israel's strike, Giora Spiegel, scores from close range. And now the atmosphere changes. Israel are ahead. Iran are under pressure. The defending champions have found the one goal that can turn a stadium anxious. But as Israel push for more, gaps open. And in the 75th minute, Behzadi equalizes 1-1. Now Iran are almost there. And then with a few minutes left, Parviz Ghelichkhani gives the match its defining moment, left-footed, from distance. Historic. Iran 2, Israel 1. The stadium erupts. Iran are champions of Asia. But the eruption is not clean. Some accounts from the Israeli side describe a frightening environment. Anti-Israeli and anti-Semitic chants. Objects thrown, even reports of cassettes and chicken heads landing near Israeli players. The referee, Alex Vass of India, keeps the match going, and after the final whistle, police and soldiers have to protect the officials and escort the Israeli players away. So the match ends in two truths at once. A magnificent Iranian football victory and a deeply ugly crowd atmosphere around the Israeli team. Both truths matter. So what did it mean? For Iran, it was the beginning of a golden football age. Iran did not just win the 1968 Asian Cup. They won every match. Behzadi finished among the tournament's leading scorers, and Ghelichkhani became a national figure. Team Melli now had proof that Iran could dominate Asia, and then they did. Iran won the Asian Cup again in 1972, and again in 1976. 3 straight Asian Cups. No country had matched that sequence. And they won the 74 Asian Games, and they qualified for the 78 World Cup in Argentina. Iran's first World Cup appearance. That whole arc begins here. May 1968. Amjadieh. Israel beaten. Cup lifted. Team Melli transformed from promise into continental power. For Israel, 1968 was the beginning of the end of their Asian football life. Israel was still strong. In 1970, they qualified for their only World Cup, eliminating Australia on the way. But politically, the AFC was closing around them. More Arab and Muslim majority countries refused to play them. The post-1967 regional order made normal sporting competition increasingly impossible. In 1974, Israel were removed from the AFC after a vote. Then came the wilderness. World Cup qualifying through Oceania, through Europe, through temporary arrangements. Clubs without a natural continental home. Players and teams operating in a football geography that didn't match physical geography. Eventually, UEFA began admitting Israel into European competition in the early 1990s, and full UEFA membership came in 1994. That solved the scheduling problem, but it didn't erase the strangeness. Israel, a West Asian country, became a European football nation because Asia could no longer contain it politically. And the 1968 final became a hinge in Iran-Israel memory. Before 1979, Iran and Israel had quiet state-to-state cooperation. After the Islamic Revolution, that relationship was transformed into open hostility. Iranian athletes would later be forbidden, formally or informally, from competing against Israelis. The idea of Iran against Israel in a major football final became not just unlikely, but almost unimaginable. That is why the footage of 1968 feels so strange now. Iran and Israel on the same pitch at the Asian Cup in Tehran for a continental title. And today the echo is still there. Iran are heading to the 2026 World Cup amid serious geopolitical controversy and security concerns. The match is scheduled in the United States against New Zealand, Belgium, and Egypt. The politics around Team Melli have not disappeared. They have changed shape. But football remains stubborn. The beautiful game keeps producing moments that politics tries to own, but cannot fully control. For Iran, 1968 belongs to Behzadi, Ghelichkhani, and the birth of a dynasty. For Israel, it belongs to a lost Asian past. And for Asian football, it is one of those matches where a scoreboard just isn't enough. Before we go, 3 things to take away from May 19, 1968. First, Iran's 2-1 win over Israel was the start of Team Melli's golden decade, 3 straight Asian Cups and a first World Cup qualification in 1978. Second, Israel's defeat was not the end of their team's quality, but it foreshadowed their political isolation inside Asian football and eventually removal from the AFC. And third, this was a football match played inside history. The goals matter, and so do the chants, the security, the Israeli players' fear, Iranian joy, and the way one night at Amjadieh exposed the future of 2 countries' football relationship. On this day in 1968, Iran came from behind to beat Israel 2-1 in Tehran, won the Asian Cup for the first time, and turned a football final into a mirror of Asia's changing political and sporting map. That's all for episode 200 of OTD, your daily dose of soccer history by 17 Law Sky. Tomorrow, we'll go to May 20, 1966, when River Plate lost to Peñarol in the Copa Libertadores final and gained a nickname they never wanted. See you tomorrow.